bulletproof coffee. And even the people at the booth were doing something a little bit different, and I want to talk about it, and that is adaptogens. And yeah. I got lion's mane in there. I got cordyceps. What else do I have today? Yeah, a little salt too. I never put salt in it before, and that's like a big game changer if you're trying to go to a workout right afterwards, because you lose so much sodium in the coffee in the morning, especially if you work out. And with the they only prescribe about a teaspoon of salt a day, where we almost sweat that out within like the first couple hours. You know, coffee and exercise involved, especially. And that's crazy, right? Everybody's doing this low sodium diet. Grandma, grandpa, everybody's, running around at 40% obesity, and we think, hey, we should do what we didn't do before and limit all the good stuff.
Okay.
This is also kind of a test run as well, because I know nothing problem.
Connecting.
It's great.
Look at that. We have sound and everything. What?
Are you experiencing the same problems with the sound?
Oh, yes. Yesterday, I went to go live with Dr. John Lemansky. We tried 3 times. It didn't happen. He ended up having to host me off of his page. So I don't know if they're updating. Again, Facebook was doing it too.
I mean, that's the same thing that's been going on with me. I kind of wanted to do this just kind of like to test the waters to make sure it's not like my equipment.
And you know what? All the way across the board, I'm like, it's such a weird, I can connect to India, but last 2 weeks I couldn't connect with Dr. Ken Berry. So I just don't know. I don't know. There's a ghost in the machine.
Well, I think a lot of people and businesses are starting to jump on these lives because they see like how proactive it is for people to see like what their company's doing and answer some questions.
Well, and you know what? It's a brave new world out there, and to actually be able to have access to the people who make the products, this is brand new. Like, this is new for us. Where do we ever get to go to Safeway and say, hey, by the way, while I'm here picking up my fresh vegetables, I'd love to chat with your buyer. Does your buyer have, 5 minutes to spare for me? We don't have those opportunities, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But in the online world, guess what? I can message a profile like Peterson Farms and I can say, hey, I have a question about this. Any chance I could chat with? And you know what? They're gonna find me somebody to chat with or someone else down the line. And this is new for us. Like, as consumers, I'm on that. Like, I won't lie. Since I discovered companies have Instagrams, I've started like hunting for the companies I use, the companies I love, the foods I buy, so that I can chat with them and say, I love your this, I love your that. Or could we get a variation on? Because the power of the dollar is ours at the end of the day, right? Like, you don't...
said before, and I like that.
Well, it is, and that's what people need to understand. Because I try not to rant. Let me not rant too much, Josh. As long as we're buying the garbage that's available, guess what they're never going to get in the stores? Because they're like, oh, supply, demand. People don't want better versions. They don't even want it. If they wanted it, they would stop buying the garbage. And that's what they think. But that's how buyers work, right? Because they work on, what can I put in the store that's the cheapest that people will buy? So if people are buying it, guess what? That's a success. And they'll continue bringing the cheap products. But as soon as we say, you know what, I love you. I've been shopping here 20 years. I love giving you my money, dude. I love it. I love bringing you my dollars. But you know what? I see my health differently, and I need you to see my health differently too. And when you start bringing products that are good for my health, I'll start bringing you my money again, dude. It's even. You give me what I want, I'll give you my money. I will do that.
I keep telling people in stores and people that ask for advice sometimes, I'm like, you have to stop thinking that you're going to these stores and paying all this extra money for healthy food. I'm like, no. If you go anywhere else in the world, that's standard. They have much stricter laws about bringing imports in and how companies make their food. And It's funny that we just like got rid of trans fats like a couple of years ago. Like they're still in like the delineation of transferring all the trans fats out of food.
Do you know what? I want to talk to you a little bit about that, because people comment that to me too, and they say, you know what, it's great for my health, but Dory, it's so expensive. And I say this, okay, guess what? You're never going to get a bottle of good healthy mayonnaise for the same price as the $3 that you pay for the cheap stuff. It's never going to happen. It's a quality of ingredients thing. But I want to tell you this. Now, this is one of the awesome marketing things that they do all around the world. See how this says it's really awesome olive oil mayonnaise? Guess what the first ingredient is, Josh? Want to guess?
Sugar?
Canola oil. Canola oil and olive oil.
The way with it in.
Yep. So that's how they do that. Now, where I live, this is it. This is all that's available on the market to me. I can't get Primal Kitchens where I live. This is it. It's this or it's make your own. It's suck it up or make your own at Dory's house. So, yes. So you know what? When it comes to the point where these products are available in my stores, yes, I will have to pay more for them. I'm aware I will have to pay more for them, but it's worth it. Now, that's twofold as well. Guess what? They're more expensive partly because of product and partly because of availability. So they don't have the big, huge manufacturing facilities where they're putting out 50 million quantity at a time, so it's not as cheap for them. These are small mom and pop companies. Like Alterna Sweets, she hand packages every bottle that goes out. Is Misty does that by hand. Even the Amazon orders. If you order something from them, Misty touched that with her hands. These are small companies, right? Like they're building it. And you know what? When we demand their products and they get cheaper, we all win. Because at the beginning we have to pay more. But then when they're more available, they're more in demand, they're more produced, it gets cheaper. It gets cheaper. But if we want to be healthy, you know what? How much does medication cost?
Ton of money. I mean, some people were going into like getting metformin and everything else, especially like for diabetes, like $500 a month. That's ridiculous. Yep. That's groceries right there that you could buy. And instead of always feeling terrible and doing those drugs, you could just eat healthier foods and don't worry like the other expenses.
Well, and I try not to, be like, about that. But the truth is, would you rather spend $500 a month on a medication that makes you feel, groggy and sick and less than yourself? Or would you say, you know what, it's too expensive for me to spend, an extra $100 a month in good groceries?
Yeah.
Because you're going to save money in the end. And it might look expensive in the beginning, but if you're looking for cheap ways to keto, check out my page. I have a hashtag called Keto on a Dime. So like I literally did a family dinner for $4 under $5. So you can do it. Yes, I did a whole video, and I made how do you feed a family of 4 under $5? How do you buy your $5 worth of ingredients and feed your whole family a good, healthy, well-rounded keto meal?
Is that on your IGTV?
It's on my YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. But you know what? I'll see if I can find it and make a little clip version for IGTV, because you know what? We need the money-saving stuff. I've got a lot of money-saving tips, and to be honest with you, Josh, I save the bulk of my money by making almost everything at home. Like, I don't buy processed almond flour. I make my own walnut flour. I make my own pecan flour. I make my own nut butters. I make almost everything. Hashtag don't miss it, make it. But not everybody can. And that's why
I think a lot of people go into it thinking like, well, I don't have the time to do that. I was like, well, then your priorities are mixed up. It's the same thing as like, if you can't have your morning coffee with like, and maybe I like the bulletproof coffee, so you do like if you can't have that time spent to help you process your day better, I'm sorry, but you have bad time or management like all around. People would come up to me and be like, well, Josh, I just don't have the time. I have kids, this and that. Like, get up earlier. But I already don't get enough sleep. Go to bed earlier. Well, blah, 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 blah. Like, the excuse is just, you're just now you're just going down the train and stuff like that don't matter. Well, you can't get the kids to sleep. You have ashwagandha. Don't let them look at their phones. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you're just making excuses. there's always an answer.
Well, there is. And you know what? For something like nut flour or nut butter, that's the one that makes me laugh the hardest when people say I don't have time. I'll send you the video. It takes about 30 seconds. 30 seconds to make your own nut flour. You literally, yes, just put it in your mixer, bzz, bzz, and you're done. To make the butter, you go bzz, bzz. Guess what my new favorite is? I'm going to make another batch today, maple walnut bacon butter. So what it is it's ground walnut made with rendered bacon fat, bits of bacon, maple flavoring, little bit of salt, little bit of sweetener. It's my new love of my life. New love of my life. I actually already have a video about that on YouTube and I think IGTV, but I'm making another batch.
You market that.
Oh, do you know what? I'm not going to lie. I don't ever want to be in the position of having to market food because holy man, the regulations, right? I love making recipes for people and I love giving them ideas, but man, do I not have the head for numbers. Like I give it to Peterson's for getting out there with their idea and actually making it something because I'm an ideas girl all day long, but man, do I not want to work with regulations.
When I first got into Peterson Farms is that I'm more of the idea guy, more of like the go-getter. I'll tie the two string laces together, and then you guys handle like the backside, the numbers, getting it ready. But I mean, the idea people kind of like push through the barriers for the people that do those. So I think both come with pros and cons.
Oh, they do.
Questions.
Oh, yay, questions. I love questions.
So Jeffrey, hey Jeff, he works at Peterson Farm. He says
Jeff.
Should be in every store. I agree. I think
a million.
We went to Fry's the other day. I think this is why I can get so much information because I naturally survey people. I think that's why I have a psychology degree. And when it goes to seeing people, it's like, oh my gosh, I can totally see why you think this way. So my buddy is like the complete opposite of me. Lean, like strong. He'll go to Fry's, which is like the lower end supermarket.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, great store. But when you go there, you don't get the same, like, you don't get Primal Kitchen in there. You don't get wild caught. You don't get grass fed. Everything is just not labeled right. I walk in there, I scuff. I'm like so pretentious about my food now. It's terrible.
Food snob.
Don't have fast fed. Get out of here. I'm leaving the store.
What? No bubbles?
Like, go to there and get like things like LaCroix because they have good sales on LaCroix. Yes. But like when it comes to actually buying the meat and the food that I eat, I have to go to Sprouts or like Whole Foods just to get that. I think it should be in every store because back to the point is he bought this bacon the other day.
Yes.
It was on sale and everybody likes a good sale, but he takes it home, he puts it in the oven just like we would Peterson Farms, and it shrivels up into like almost nothing. It's like lifeless. It just crisps up way too much, and it's like biting like bark. Everybody wants that true like bliss point where it's a little bit crunchy, but just enough where you get the juicy center. And you can't get that with some of these bacons because it's not real bacon. It's just like this genetically modified kind of Frankenstein meat.
Well, and I can't lie because I live in Canada. So if any of your followers don't know, I live in Canada and you guys aren't yet available here. So all I really get is the options of, this crummy bacon or that crummy bacon or that crummy bacon. And the other day I did buy me some on sale bacon. I'm not going to lie. It was on sale for $3, $2.97. I got me 4 packs in the fridge because it's on sale bacon, baby. And I love me some bacon. But I will tell you, I twisted it all up pretty and I put it in the pan and it came out looking like, dude, I should have taken pictures. I didn't because it was so sad and I can't actually put that on my plate in a recipe because it was that sad. But it came out looking like a swizzle stick. Like I actually was thinking, and I won't lie, I was thinking to myself, you know what, when I make Dr. Ken's signature coffee, I think it's going to have a bacon swizzle stick. But it literally, my full-size strip of bacon came out like a teeny little, because I twisted it to be gorgeous, because Dory and beautiful bacon. And it was sad. It came out like a straw, like a bacon straw.
A great drink recipe, because I think a lot of people don't, everybody thinks like, oh, I can't drink on keto. I think people I think keto's a great way to get away with certain things like this. And the recipe I posted was, always go with like a clear vodka or like a clear gin or clear tequila, because that's like the most like best thing you can put in your body rather than like beer with like harmful sugars and yeast. Zevia ginger beer, fresh mint, fresh lime, and then a bacon Swizzler.
I saw that live. Now, dude, I'm going to show you something that is going to make me your new best friend, and every girl you ever wanted to date is going to be like, dude, you are the king of the world. So I'm going to tell you my story of inspiration when it came to alcohol. Now, I'm your typical girl, and I only like things like liqueurs and pretty things and things like Skittles vodka from back in the day. Now, my guy who knows I love these pretty things bought me this.
What is it?
It's a sparkly vodka, but unfortunately, this is literally all sugar, and I can't have it. I can't have it. So what I decided to do was, I'm Dory, and I made my own. So what I did was I took vodka and I added grape and sparkle to it, so that I made my own sparkle vodka. So then I kind of went nuts, because again, I'm Dory, and I bought 1, 2, 4, and I made a whole bunch of flavors of vodka. So I did it this way: good, better, best. So the good option is, it's not the best, but it's made from the sugar-free sweetened candies. So you just put 1 candy per ounce of vodka, drop it in, put your food sparkles, done. So I did those in orange, I did grape, I added the sparkle to them. I did sour ones. So I've got sour lemon vodka, I've got sour lime vodka, and to sour them, you just add a little bit of powdered citric acid. Makes it sour. So you make your own homemade sourpuss. Then what I did is I did a better option, which is just out of flavored extract. So this one is vodka, peppermint extract, green coloring, and sparkle. So I have my own peppermint sparkle vodka. This one is butterscotch flavoring and sparkle and vodka. They make the prettiest cocktails. This one, because I'm a 90s girl and they don't make Fireball anymore. This one is cinnamon oil, Fireball vodka.
Wait, you put real cinnamon in there?
No, I used cinnamon oil flavored extract because cinnamon tastes like cinnamon. This tastes like cinnamon hearts, like the Valentine's cinnamon hearts. So this tastes like Fireball.
Now,
Homemade.
I think you should actually take Jeffrey's idea right here. I don't know how you would do it. Maybe actually put real bacon in there and let it soak, but like do a bacon sparkly like cinnamon vodka.
Do you know what? I'll do it, dude. You know what? Let's do a maple bacon sparkle vodka. Let's do it. I will totally do that. This one is root beer.
Do a cooking live video where we just like make some ideas up and just do that.
Yes. Because these are fun. And then my best option, because good, better, best, my very best option is made out of just fresh fruit. So this one is just orange zest soaked in vodka. And I made one with blueberries soaked in vodka. So best option all the way around the board. It's just vodka and fruit. So good, better, best. And these are my base for cocktails in the summer.
There are different here, and that's what I want to like hit on, I guess, because we're just in all these great subjects right now.
Yes.
What it is that making your own kind of creations, and like everybody can make it, and all you gotta do is be a little creative in your own mind.
Yes.
Like if you want tequila that night, instead of using like just sugary seltzer water or some of that, use just regular sparkling water, and maybe use like a Zevia ginger beer or Zevia like this or that. Like sweeten it with something like that. And even the Zevia, like sorry you guys, but their drinks are super saturated with stevia, so I only end up doing like
a little bit
more sparkling water and then ginger beer on top of it.
Ooh, I want to give you my best drinking on the go tip. Because you're out with your friends, you're partying, you want to seem really, really cool. So if you want to do something that's a lower carb version when you're out and about, first thing you do is you pick yourself a lower carb beer, and then you ask for a glass of sparkling water, and you mix a little sparkling water in your low carb beer, cuts your carbs in half. Now, I'm going to tell you my other favorite secret. Did you know that ordering a drink pressed means add water? So if you go and order, for example, a vodka Diet Coke pressed, that means they add half water. You can order it pressed with sparkling water, and pressed sounds way more suave than, hey, can you throw a little water in the top of that? And then you're cutting your carbs again by adding water or sparkling water, and you looked super suave in front of the ladies, just saying, like, you know, I'd like me a low-carb beer pressed.
For, like, my company when I go to restaurants, because, you know, I always like to decipher what they have. And even like the healthiest restaurants, you're going to have agave or sweetener in there. So I end up just making my own drink most of the time. And the order, like the poor person taking our order, sitting there like, yep. And you want me to do what? Okay, yep.
And I promise I'm not spitting in that. Crossing my fingers as I write it down.
Well, they got 3 different sources of sugar. You know, you got like the regular like syrup, then you got like the mango that they add in, and then they got something else adding. And I'm like, man, can you just make like? And I don't want to be that unclassy guy that's taking shots at the table,
right?
Something like, because you know, for me, beer is like the worst.
Yes.
Like, I was never a fan of beer. I was just kind of like in a lucid state when I was in college and drinking so much beer because it was cheaper. But it was like, I don't think I ever had like a great time the next day after having like beer drank that night. But always, if you relatively keep it to a low dosage, not like go way off the handle with like a handle.
Yes, right? Because we can't do that. Like, I want to disclaimer this and say, you know what? There's no technically keto alcohol. There's low-carb alcohols. There's technically no keto alcohol. But if I say to you, Josh, you're never having another drink ever again, you're going to be like, you know what? You know where you can shove your keto, Dory? And then it would get explicit and we would have to not be on a family channel. So give an option, right? Given an option, if you're going to drink anyways, then pick a low-carb beer, half and half it, add a third of sparkling water. Nancy does that with her wine. So she'll take her wine and then add some sparkling water, or she really loves the black cherry LaCroix in your drinks. Add just a little bit to your glass of wine and it lowers your carbs. So say if a glass of wine is 8 or 10 grams of carbs and you take a half of a glass, now it's 4 or 5 grams of carbs instead of 8 or 10, right?
Have you dry farm wines?
I have not. For me, again, I only love the super sweet fruity stuff. Like, I'm a Boone's girl all day long, and I can't have that stuff. There's no way. Like, it is nothing but pure sugar, and then I turn into, like, I don't even want to tell you what happens to me when I have sugar.
Well, dry farm wines, you really try them out, because I think that's the only keto alcohol.
Yay!
So, my friend Todd White, who runs the company, he was in full doses, burning like 1.5 to 2 millimolars when he already had 2 bottles of his wine.
Wow. Now that's something. That is certainly something. But I think
that's traditional. You know how they messed up the food in America? They have also messed up the wine and coffee, everything. All the industries here. So if you go to like Spain or Italy, none of those people know what a hangover is. Not unless they go out and drink like 7 bottles, which is humanly possible. No. But even if you do go out and you like drink too much this or that, nobody ever has like the wicked hangovers where like, I don't know about you, like nowadays it's like a whole day to recover. Like I have to plan my day around it. Those days where I could just be like, hey, you going out tonight? Oh, I'll go to the bar with you, and then like come home at 4 a.m. and then wake up at 7 and go back to work. I can't do that. I have to plan. Like the next day I have 2 movies picked out. You know, I've got like my whole keto day ready to reset. Fasting, charcoal, making sure that like I have a bathroom near me in sight.
I got everything ready. I got my house coat. I got everything. I got my like, I just need a blankie, hide from the world blankie. Yeah, no, hangovers are not, like, in my 20s, dude, I could drink like nobody's business, and I was that girl at the bar with 2 mini jugs of Paralyzer that everybody was watching to see if she was going to fall down. Like, I was that girl. Like, they were only $5 a jug. If you set one down, someone will steal it. So I was that girl who wandered around with 2 jugs of Paralyzers, and I could get up the next day, and I'd be like, I'm so awesome. And now I'm like, why do I feel like someone hit me with their car? Like, actually, though, feel like somebody ran me over with their car.
How crazy is that? Because I know they do that for sure. Like, they do the drink happy hours. I remember, especially in college, we had a place called Cell Block. Yeah. And it was a 3-story old-timey jail
that they repurposed into like a dance floor. So downstairs they had live bands that was like more rock and roll. They had the middle stage, which was like the modern day stuff, and then they had the one which was like an acoustic guy in the back corner playing like remakes. But the cool thing about it is, like, every happy hour, I remember getting this one drink called Superman. Yeah. And all it was, blue Curacao, red grenadine, which both are
yes, pure sugar.
And then you had like vodka or something. And it was called the Superman, but since they're different densities, they would sit on each other, so it looked like red and blue. Yes. It was pretty cool. But now that I think back to it, I had like 4 or 5 of those a night. Oh. No wonder. So horrible the next day. It's like 300 grams of sugar.
Oh yeah, well think about it. In a night of drinking, and I mean I don't want to say too much because whatever it is, what it is in your 20s, I would have a couple jugs of Paralyzer, which is milk, and Kahlua and vodka. A couple of the mini jugs, the little ones, right? Like whatever. Don't judge me, dude. I'd only have like 6. Whatever. You shut up. And then you'd have your shooters, right? And my favorites were always the really good sweet ones like. I really love China Rose, that one, and that's all liqueur. We won't get into the dirty names because apparently all the ones I love are dirty names. I was just thinking of names of shooters, and I went, I can't go there. I cannot go there on a family. Well, yeah, those and all the other really good ones, like the stuff on the beach and, the stuff with the job and, like all the really good ones. And I won't lie, in my 20s, you always had contests about that too, like shooter contests. And, when I used to go to the bar when I was young, they had really bad things that they've now outlawed, like super, super cheap drinks, like $10, 10-cent draft. So you would get like 10 glasses of draft beer and be like, ah. We can't do that anymore. I'm going to say...
We need to repurpose that idea. I think it's an old-timey religion. Like, partying for me is not this thing that we have in the 20s and then we get out of it. I think partying should be lifelong. Every day should be a party. But the fact that I think it's coming to a fact where we need to make sure that there's a healthier alternative.
Oh, yes.
I think we're blaming alcohol for what the sugar is doing again.
Right?
Just like our food. I think if we get a beer that's dry, like a dry beer, like a stout or Guinness, which has like little to like no sugar carbs, I think that's a better than saying like, oh, let's do, because even craft beers, everything's, craft beers are so great. But no, if you think about it, smaller companies that don't have the same like strict laws, and the yeast that they're using is probably still commercialized, so they're not much better than the bigger companies. And they still have a ton of back-added sugar.
Well, and you know what? I agree that you should never give up the party in your soul. You just needs to evolve. Because you know what? I don't go out that often. I don't get all that often. You did see me at my best at KetoCon because, man, I haven't been out in a long time. But that's what I do now. I had one drink that I accidentally spilt and I didn't finish. I was in the middle of doing a live and I was like, oh, dang, dropped my drink. And I didn't have another one. That was it. Like, I drank 4 sips of a drink at the social at KetoCon. So I don't drink anymore. I really don't. But if I am not the person having the most fun in any room, I did not win. And I am about winning, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same way. Do you ever go to like a battalion and you're like, I got be the most bubbly person in that room. That's the win.
That's the win.
It just goes back to everything that we're saying is basically, I think, you can't go on the keto diet and restrict yourself from everything. I think that's like the biggest mistake people do. Like once you go keto, you're like, all I can eat is strict butter, fish, or meat for the first like 4 weeks, and then you can add some vegetables. I'm like, no. Somebody said it best the other day. Consistency is better than perfection.
Yes, and you know what? I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, if you're just starting keto, you only have 2 jobs in the beginning. Number 1, cut sugar. Number 2, lower your carbs. That's it. Like, and I won't lie, I spent months getting rid of sugar because I am not one of those people who can be like, okay, I won't lie. I used to put 6 teaspoons of sugar in one of these coffees and then, wait for it, Josh, then I would add my flavored creamer, international creamer. I'm only like really big fat addicted. So when I first started keto, I was like, okay, you know what? The first day I put 5 sugars in instead of 6, I'm a rock star. And then the next day I'm going to put a little bit less and a little bit less and a little bit less. And it took me months to get rid of all of the sugar in my coffee. But I already decided, as long as I was making one healthy step a day, then I was making a step, because it was healthier than I was yesterday. And you know what? I didn't need to wake up and be like, okay, tomorrow is the day that I have no sugar, because I would kill people and I am too pretty for jail. I am too pretty for jail. Like, they frown upon killing people. I just don't even know what to say.
You're basically going through, like, I'm an extremist. Everything I do is extreme.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm cold turkey, and you're just another example of someone that
did it different.
I can't do that way, Josh. I'm like, okay, well, I can give you an example of someone that didn't do it my way. You look at Dory.
Well, and you know what?
She took months to get rid of the sugar on her coffee.
I did. But you know what the best part of doing it slowly is? Guess what I didn't have? I had no keto flu. I had no body cramps. I had no issues in the bathroom. I didn't have any of that. Because here's the thing. Now, I want you to imagine this. I don't know if you've ever owned a dog, but I want you to imagine that you need to switch your dog's food. You go to the vet says, okay, your dog's allergic to that food, Josh. I need you to switch your dog's food. Now, if you go home that very next day and you give the dog the new food, what happens? Your dog gets sick. That's not how you do it. You go home and you take their bowl of food and you put 1/4 of the new food and you feed them that for a couple of days. And then you add half of the new food and you feed them for a couple of days. And then all of a sudden it's only 1/4 of the old food, and then it's no old food. But that is how you adjust an animal to new food. So why would it be different for a human being? If you wake up tomorrow and you say, okay, that's it. I know more carbs, I know more sugar, I know more this, I know more that. You're going to get sick. Now, not because what you're doing is not good for you in the long run and it won't be good for your health, but you are changing everything about what you're putting in your body. You're gonna get sick. That's why the keto flu happens. So if you ease out and slowly cycle out your carbs and your sugars, guess what? You're rocking on all the way. It takes a little longer to get there, but you don't spend 2 weeks thinking, I can't do this. If I get sick every time I do this, I'm not doing this. Because let's be honest, how many yo-yo diet, right? So if you think, I'm going to keto for a couple of months and then I'm going to go off and I'm going to keto for a couple of months, what is your number one deterrent? Every time I start, I'm going to get sick for 2 weeks, Josh. I don't have time to be sick for 2 weeks, dude. I can't lay in bed for 2 weeks and be sick, so don't lay in bed and be sick. Ease out.
You know what? It's coming to a point where people, I think, need to just to adapt to the findings of their life. I mean, if they're going through it with yours, like the 6 teaspoons of sugar every day, just cutting out a little bit here and there is a win. I mean,
it was.
The daily intake for carbs or sugar in America for an adult is like, I think 70 to 90 grams. For a child, it's 120 to 180 grams a day. Well, it's insane.
I just need my charger. We last minute decided to do this, so I was like, hey, want to go live in 6 minutes? Sure. And I've been yapping on my phone all morning, so I'm like, oh, look it, I'm about to die.
I know, this is like my one day off, so I like to get into it. One thing I want to talk about is Low Carb USA.
Oh, yes. Do you know what? I want you to tell me about that, because I haven't really heard much about it, except for I was chatting with the Keto Chow guy about it. Because I was like, what other awesome events are there? Because I won't lie. KetoCon was my first event, and it was the first time I realized that there was events. I was like, what? People do this?
Once you find out about events, it's brilliant. I think events are by far one of the most beneficial things for companies.
Oh,
they are.
I'm on it, dude. Like, I am on it. I can't lie. I want to try to budget for next year so that I can attend at least 5 events, including my own, because I want to make one. I'm a go-getter like that. But I want to budget so that I can attend 4, and this one is on my list, so you got to tell me all the tell about.
So I was there when, like, Nui was Keto Cookie. That was, like, how long ago? And they were in, like, a Hilton or something like that. So it's really great because it's way different than KetoCon because there's all different types of events. Now, this event is more of very few vendors, but tons of knowledge. It's almost like going to a conference for, like, work. So they send you off. You get to, like, have, like, some Peterson's kielbasa, no sugar, obviously, and then you have Nui now, who has their cookies. You have some Killer Whey, this and that. But then in between, you go into like a session, and you're in there for like an hour and a half listening to like huge talkers. And this year they have Jeff Bolick, which is master of like ultra marathon running type of endurance athlete knowledge for keto. You have Stephen Finney, who is another one in that field, who did one of the first studies in the back of the 90s saying how keto is so much better with saturated fats.
I love the dog. Hi, puppy.
Hi, puppy. Hey.
Hi, puppy.
And then you also have people like, there's just a ton of other people. But the cool thing about it is you actually get a lot more of those scientific backing. And I think we had a lot of that at KetoCon, but it was kind of mixed because you had a lot of vendors there too. And now they're at the Wyndham. It's like a great hotel. It's huge.
Nice. Come say hi, puppy, so you know that you don't have to bark at me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? My animals wait until I go on live, and then they be total jerks too. Like, it's the perfect time to climb up on the table, for the cat to get on the counter, for the dog to stick her head in the garbage can. You know, Mammy's not going to yell at me when she's on the shiny box.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as you go live.
Oh, right? I love it. Right. I love it. So when is that, and where do you go to that? Because I've kind of only just been mentioned Low Carb USA.
So it's San Diego, always San Diego,
okay.
And it's going to be this weekend.
Oh, dude, that gives me, like, I can't be there this weekend. Dang it. Oh, why aren't I rich instead of good looking? Like, really?
Wait, well, you need to look out for the Metabolic Summit with Victoria Atlas.
Oh, yes. Do you know what I need to do is do some hardcore research about what events are available that I really, really want to attend. Because I really want to do the low carb cruise that Jimmy Moore hosts. I really, 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 I want to do the cruise. And you know what? KetoCon is in my heart. I love it. I met the most amazing people there. And that Keto Fest from last weekend, dude, I am so beyond jealous. Like, that looks like way more of a Dory party. Like, I needed to be dancing around that. Like, I needed to be. Like, there needed to be a Dory dancing around there.
You should a Paleo Effects for next year.
Oh, yes.
Paleo Effects is a big one. It's both keto and paleo. I would say, I think the Metabolic Summit's going to be a huge one. I think she's doing big things. And it's 4 days instead of 3 days. So you can actually get your money's worth and stay out there for 4 days.
Yes.
I think Low Carb USA would be like a maybe once or twice visit type of place. If you're going and attending, I would say once. Okay. If it was like a vendor, I would say 1 or 2 times would be the max.
Okay.
And then, it's just, doing your research on some of these. Keto Fest is rather new, I think, in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're up massively. And it's more like festival style, more like a state fair. And I like that because then you can just walk around all day eating bacon and, real bacon.
Right? So now I can't really divulge too much because I'm only like still in just the plan stages, but I will tell you that I'm taking on something ambitious and I'm going to try to do what people do in half the amount of time, and I'm going to try to pull together my first ever keto event in 6 months instead of the year that everybody else takes to plan them because Dory. But I want to do something in Vegas. Vegas has never seen keto hit it like we can, and I want it to be a mix of everything. So there'll be a small vendor show. There's even going to be a kids zone because the kids that were at KetoCon, and there weren't a lot, mostly they came with the speakers and the vendors, and they did so good, but there was nothing for them. And you know what? So much in the community, we're trying to build keto for kids, so let's do something for them. A Charlie Foundation Kids Zone that will have speakers specifically for the kids, even kids speakers, little cooking classes, music, crafts, so they have their own section that goes into the outdoor market, and then everything for everybody else. And I can't really leak the list, but I'll tell you, it's insane. Like, the yes list that I got will blow your mind, dude. So I'm gonna try to do it. I'm ambitious.
It's you. If anybody can, it's you, Dory. I mean, I'll reach out to a couple of people like that run these other events and just say, like, how do you get that backing? And all you need, it really is like some funding to just, purchase out that big space in like a Grand Villa or anything like that.
Well, and that's basically it. Like, that's the only piece I'm missing.
The only thing I would say for recommending like what people need to like do for like events would be like just having more outdoor stuff.
Yes.
More like maybe outdoors, things like that. The last thing, I think a lot of people in the keto are starting to transfer over from biohacking and back and forth. And when you're just sitting in a hall all day with fluorescent lighting and you can't get out, it's like people are just itching to like get out of there and go like especially at KetoCon, everybody's like, I can't wait to go eat at a restaurant tonight, go across the street, get out of this place.
Well, and it was too hot. It was too hot in Texas to go outside. Like, when they did the meet and greet outside, I was like, for the love of everything holy, why is this outside? Like, why? Why?
Had that roller derby next door, that's why I think.
Okay. Well, and I didn't know. I danced around like a crazy lady anyways, and again, spilt my drink. But it was so hot. So hot. So I really want to kind of factor in a little of that. And you know what? It's something that happens the first year you do it, and then the next year it grows and changes. And, you know, I want it to encompass a little bit of whole health. So not just keto stuff. It's going to have some other things. I'm not going to lie. I kind of have in mind to have like a vegan corner somewhere. And I know the vegans hate on us. I know that they do. I know they do. But there is a vegan keto version.
You can even try vegan keto. I mean, but you're really limiting yourself.
Well, you are, but it's possible. And I won't lie, for me, it's kind of a family thing. I have a niece who's in her early 20s and very staunch vegan and very millennial, and she won't come to a bacon festival, even if it's mine. But if I promise her her own little frou-frou vegan corner, you know, with grass mats and pillows and, you know, she can, you know, hang out there and be all vegan, then she will come.
My Lord.
Right? We could get them like their own little folk singer and, you know, whatever. Because there is a way to do it. I know there's a way to do it. Now, I know there's resistance in the community about it. And I've even seen people post on Jimmy's stuff, oh, what are you talking about? You think there can be vegan keto. But I want to ask you this. Why can't there be vegan keto? Keto just means added extra fat. So what? There's no plant-based fat? You don't eat plant-based fat?
Okay.
There's no plant-based protein, like, vegans probably don't eat a lot of things like nutritional yeast that have 15 grams of protein per tablespoon, so they totally couldn't keto. If you don't like bacon, that's it. Keto's not for you, dude. Sorry. So you can, like, if you already eat vegan and you already eat clean, but you think, you know what, maybe this keto's for me, the difference for you is two things. One, add extra fat, a buttload of it, and two, unfortunately, you got to get rid of your soy junk, because a lot of what vegans eat and vegetarians eat is soy-based products. Your veggies are going to shift a little, but dude, it's like literally, you can't not vegan
people
keto.
Don't understand, like when you have fats, that's the reason why they're carried through your body with the micronutrient-dense veggies. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just have, like, vegetables, but you're not even getting a lot of those, like, micronutrients unless you add the fat. So add, like, a ton of coconut oil. And, I mean, like, it's just hard for me to keep seeing people go through that crisis of vegan and then think that it's, like, a healthy, sustainable way of living. And then someone comes up to me and they're, like, super skinny, kind of pale, and they're like, oh, well.
Oh, I'm so vegan.
20 years, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I get it. I do. Like, I do. And I'm the queen of don't be judgy. Because in all honesty, I've said it to people before. I don't care if you're dairy-free, nut-free, if you're vegan. If you will only eat panda massaged meat, I don't care. If you need a healthier version of a recipe, then yeah, I'm all about doing that. So no, I'm not vegan. I don't even really have a lot of vegan friends. I don't even really have a lot of vegetarian friends. I do have one friend who's meat adverse and egg adverse, so I make her recipes because she's not morally against eating death flesh. Her body can't handle it. So, right? And I'm like, whatever. So maybe they won't want to come. You know, maybe they'll be like, I hate you, bacon girl. But maybe they will want to come. And you know what? I would love to include them if they want to come. Because even at KetoCon, a lot of the products I saw were vegan.
Yeah.
They are vegan. Stoka bars. What is not vegan in a Stoka bar? It's almond. Like, it's vegan. It's gluten-free. It's sugar-free. Add the hashtags. So why not? Like, I'm so tired of this community to community. Oh, you're vegan, we don't like you. You're keto, we don't like that. We're, we're low carb, you're keto. You don't eat what we eat. You know what? We all don't eat Cheetos and Snickers.
Yeah. I think that's a win. I think where you're hitting on the big thing is like, I think keto people really are hard pressed just to say, well, I mean, you don't have to increase your fast to like how big keto is, but you definitely need to get rid of sugar. I mean, that's a staple among everybody. I think that's every diet known to man, unless you're like listening to somebody that doesn't know their stuff. But as long as you're eliminating sugar across the board, I think that's everybody's weakness, and I think everybody's going to do a lot better. And even if you do these three things, I tell people all the time, it's almost like Whole30, but eliminate gluten, eliminate sugar, eliminate lactose, and add it in minimal amounts. Like if you're going to have cheese, like minimal amounts of cheese. Like if you're going to have milk, have a minimal amount of milk. If you're going to have gluten, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, and it honestly, everybody kind of comes at it a different way too. Like in my group, I have everything from like, I am super strict keto. I track all my macros, Dory. I weigh everything on a scale. I know exactly, I know how many ounces of Brussels sprouts I eat with how many tablespoons of bacon fat. And then I have people in my group who are like, you know what, I'm low carb-ish, and if it fits my macros, that's okay. And that's a way to go about it too. But where I have issue is with the muddle in between. Like when people say things like, I eat low carb tortillas because they're keto. No, they are made out of whole wheat. So they're low carb, but they're not tortilla. The main ingredient is wheat, or it's corn, or it's tapioca starch. So it's low carb, yes, and it's an awesome low carb option, but it's not keto. So that's the only honestly issue that I have is when people, like I won't say argued with, because I never argue with anybody and it wasn't in my group, but a lady posted, I use these low carb tortillas and they are keto. And I was like, okay, but they're not keto, they're low carb. And it's totally cool to post these are a good low carb option, but they're not keto. And she came back with, yes, they are. They are exactly the same amount of carbs per serving as Fathead. So they're the same. And I was like, okay, well, they're the same amount of carbs, yes. They're both 4 grams of carbs. So I guess on an outside edge, they're the same, but one is going to inflame your body with wheat, and the other is 4 grams of carbs because it's nuts. And I told her my favorite secret, if you make it with walnut instead of almond, you've now cut the carbs in half. So instead of your Fathead being, 10 grams of carbs per serving, it's 4. So it's actually better than a 4-gram carb, because if you make mine with the walnut flour, they're 2 grams of carbs per serving instead of 4, and you don't get the bad ingredients. 2. Like, that's insane. And I know a lot of people who do the 0 carb or uber low carb, and they say, you know what? I don't have budget in my diet for things like nuts and breads, and I just don't make those things. But this is what I do. For example, I take a recipe that is originally for pie crust. And I think it's Wholesome Foods almond pie crust, but again, I never use almond. So I make 1 pie crust, and I make it out of walnut flour. Then that 1 pie crust makes 24 mini cups. So what I do is I do half sweet, so I add a little sweetener and cinnamon in it, and half savory with cracked pepper and oregano, and then I just use them as little hors d'oeuvre cups. And you can add whatever you want in them. But these break down to half of a carb per serving. And they make beautiful hors d'oeuvres for parties that you can pre-make up, and then you put whatever you want in them. The last ones I did, one had sour cream and dill and pretty pieces of pickle. One had salsa and sour cream. One had bacon dip and cut up onion. But they're quick, go, easy hors d'oeuvres, and they're literally a half of a gram of carb per serving.
That's beautiful.
So
that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, there's keto and then there's keto friendly. And a lot of these products nowadays are keto-friendly, which means you can have one of them, but that's your net carbs for the day.
For the day,
I want to make sure that people are not eating a whole diet of just supplements. And that's what I feel my problem with, not to be judgmental about vegans. If it works for you. Yeah. You feel healthy, that's great. But for me, it's like you're supplementing so much. I used to have protein powders. utilize that now. Let's be as simple as possible and keep as much of it to natural, like not unprocessed foods as possible. Yeah. But I think I'm gonna leave you with one fact, and then we'll get off because I think we're close to an hour now.
I think so.
Ever heard of the Lone Star tick?
No.
It is the most fearsome animal in the world to me.
Okay.
You know why?
Did it bite you?
It releases a certain enzyme in your body. If this tick bites you, you're not allowed to have meat anymore.
No.
Just a little thing this big. Boop. Lone Star tick. You will not be able to die. You'll go to anaphylactic shock if you have meat. So everybody out there, make sure you check your neighborhood for Lone Star ticks because that's a real thing. And somebody's come up to me and like said, "Man, I would love to try your bacon right now. I would love to." I'm like, "Okay, try it then." He's like, "I can't. I would probably go into shock and seizure because I was bit by a tick one time."
Have your tick spayed and neutered. Help protect us against the tick population.
Oh, great, yeah. Oh, man, I would be so mad. That would be the worst.
Oh, I would die, dude. I think I would really curl up and die. I am known for my love of bacon.
Same. All the time. And I tell people, like, yeah, if I went without bacon for a couple of days, I get cranky. I put it in my drinks. I put it into, that's how people used to cook with. All is tallow. Beef tallow, bacon grease. Okay. That's what Grandma cooked with.
So
olive oil.
You started on coffee. Let's finish on coffee. Do you do the bacon fat in your coffee? Have you had a bacon coffee?
Yeah, I've done it once. But you know what? If I have too much bacon grease, it doesn't settle right for me.
No.
I'm more bacon meat.
Yes.
Cooking with it. Like if I did vegetables, I would cook all my vegetables on bacon grease.
At my house, that's how we do. It's either bacon. Actually, I usually do a combination of bacon grease, avocado oil, olive oil, and then depending on what I'm making, might be butter, might be ghee. I'm a mix oil girl. When I make shrimp, I get some of all the good oils in there, and I do it up.
That's
I love
amazing.
me the fat.
Dora, you're amazing as always. Thank you for agreeing to do this last minute thing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let me know if I can help you with anything with your conference.
Oh, yes, I will. You guys are more than invited. I'll tell you what, I'll keep you in the loop.
All right, babe.
Have a great day. Bye.